Navigating the Genetic Maze, your guide to genetic counseling. So welcome. Today we're embarking on a journey through the fascinating world of genetic testing. Think of it as a maze filled with twists and turns where genetic counselors act as our guides, helping us navigate toward understanding ourselves and our loved ones better. Genetic testing can benefit many people, including those with a family history of genetic conditions, individuals showing specific symptoms, curious minds seeking answers, prospective parents wanting to understand risks, and those who receive positive screening results. Each of these scenarios is like a different path in our maze, leading to new insights. So why consider genetic testing? Considering genetic testing is like trying to solve a health mystery within the twists and turns of the maze. Each path represents different aspects of your health journey, and genetic testing provides crucial clues that help illuminate the way forward. As you navigate the maze, these clues can help you identify hidden conditions that may be lurking in the shadows. They guide your medical management, much like finding signposts that point you towards safer routes or shortcuts. If there's a family history of certain diseases, it's like having a map with marked danger zones. Genetic testing helps you understand these risks, offering peace of mind as you make informed decisions about which paths to take. Ultimately, with these clues in hand, you can navigate the maze with greater confidence and clarity, solving the mystery of your health along the way. Now let's weigh the pros and cons. Factors to consider include your personal situation, emotional readiness, or your ability to recognize if you're in a good place emotionally to handle any new challenges or experiences, as well as an understanding of how any results may impact your family. The decision-making process can be complex, but it's like gathering information to choose the best path forward in our maze. Genetics experts will be with you throughout the entire process to provide guidance. If you've made the decision to pursue genetic testing, there are various types of genetic tests to consider, each of which analyzes our genetic information in its own specific way. Let's cover some common genetic tests and what they can analyze. Whole exome sequencing looks at the exome, which are the genes that contain the instructions for making proteins, which is about 1 to 2% of our entire genome. The exome is where most known disease-related mutations occur. While exome sequencing focuses specifically on the parts of DNA that encode proteins, genome sequencing provides a more comprehensive view by analyzing all of the DNA. Here there are some questions regarding why not just perform genome sequencing every time. There are a couple of reasons, but mostly just because exome sequencing is more targeted and efficient, making it the go-to choice in many cases, especially when the goal is to identify specific genetic disorders linked to protein coding genes. By focusing on the exome, providers can often get the information they need to make a diagnosis without the need for the more expansive and expensive genome sequencing. Gene panels look at multiple specific genes, often associated with a certain genetic condition or group of conditions, such as looking at all the genes that could lead to neuromuscular disorders. While single gene tests look at a single gene, often associated with a certain genetic condition, where instead of looking at all of the neuromuscular genes, if a certain condition such as Duchenne muscular disorder is suspected, then only testing the gene related to Duchenne muscular disorder. Gene panels are useful when a provider suspects multiple genetic condition or wants to test for a range of disorders with similar symptoms, as they can assess multiple genes at once. Single gene testing is more appropriate when the condition is linked to a specific gene, making it a targeted, cost-effective option for diagnosing a particular suspected genetic disorder. Carrier testing identifies if you carry a gene for a condition. This testing is usually not done because of concerns about symptoms, as carriers typically don't show any signs of the condition. Instead, it is often performed on asymptomatic individuals to determine if they carry a genetic variant. Cell-free DNA testing is a non-invasive prenatal test. This is a test that checks for certain genetic conditions in a baby, like Down syndrome, without the need for invasive procedures. It analyzes small pieces of the baby's DNA that are found in the mother's blood, offering a safe and relatively accurate screening option early in pregnancy. SNP microarray analyzes variations in genetic material across the genome, looking for small changes called single nucleotide polymorphisms, or SNPs, that can be associated with diseases or conditions, most often used to detect developmental delays and cognitive ability. Karyotype examines the genetic material at a structural level for specific disorders, providing a visual map of chromosomes to detect large-scale genetic changes like extra or missing chromosomes. This can be very useful in detecting conditions such as Down syndrome. Mitochondrial testing identifies genetic variations in the DNA found in mitochondria, the energy-producing structures in cells. This DNA is different than our nuclear DNA, which is what all these other mentioned tests are analyzing. Mitochondrial variations can be linked to certain maternally inherited conditions that often affect energy production, typically within the muscles in our body. Pharmacogenetics helps us understand how our body responds to medications by examining your genetic makeup. This information can guide doctors in choosing the most effective drugs and dosages for you, reducing the risks of side effects and improving treatment outcomes. There are additional types of genetic tests, including various screenings and specialized options. If you'd like to learn more about these tests or the tests we have mentioned here, please watch our video on genetic testing. Now, what do we use to perform these tests? Genetic tests can be performed using a variety of sample types, including blood, dried blood spots, saliva, cheek swabs, or urine, as these contain DNA that can be analyzed. In some cases, more specialized tests, like muscle biopsies, may be required to examine genetic material from tissues or cells in specific areas of the body. The type of sample used often depends on the test being performed and the condition being investigated. Navigating genetic testing is like finding your way through a complex maze. Just as there isn't one path that leads you through every twist and turn of the maze, there isn't a single test that can identify all genetic changes. So, receiving negative or unknown results on one or two tests doesn't always mean that there isn't a genetic component. It could simply mean that the specific condition or genetic factor tested for didn't hold the answer. There could still be other factors or conditions at play that need further exploration, either through additional genetic testing or as more research is conducted to determine whether any identified variants are linked to the condition. Genetics professionals act like experienced guides, helping you choose the most suitable path based on your specific situation and family history. As you journey through the maze, some paths might take longer to explore than others, just like the turnaround time tests for genetic tests, which can range from a few weeks to several months. It's crucial to discuss these timelines with your healthcare provider, much like checking your map to know what to expect as you make your way through the maze. They can help you plan your route effectively and ensure you're prepared for the next steps along the way. If you do decide to undergo genetic testing, there are different kinds of results that you can receive. The first is a positive result. This indicates that a specific genetic variant has been identified, and it is known to be associated with a certain health condition or disease. This is like reaching a point in the maze where a clear sign directs you to a specific path, potentially giving you a direction for your health. The second type of result is a negative result. This means that a variant has been identified and is well studied enough to be classified as not associated with any health risks. It is considered harmless and not likely to affect the individual's health. This is like reaching a point in the maze where some paths are blocked. You can move forward confident that those blocked paths don't affect your journey. The last type of result we have is a variant of uncertain significance, or a VUS. This means that a genetic variant has been found, but we don't have enough information to say whether it is harmless, harmful, or if it has any effect at all. This can happen because there isn't enough research on that specific variant, or it may be found in people without health issues. A VOS is like a fork in the maze where your path is unclear. You're not sure yet if it leads to a path with signs directing you where to go, a new discovery, or a blocked path that does not affect your journey. More exploration is needed to find out. Just as every route in the maze leads you to different outcomes, each test result carries its own weight. Some paths may not change your immediate route, like how management and screening might remain the same. But understanding the signs along the way gives you valuable insights. Knowledge is power. When you learn about your genetic makeup, it's like gaining a map that helps you make informed decisions at each junction. This understanding empowers you to feel more in control of your health journey, allowing you to navigate the maze with greater confidence and purpose. Discussing the implications of your results with your healthcare provider can further illuminate the paths ahead, guiding you through the maze effectively. Now, I'd like to introduce you to those who can serve as your guides through your genetic testing journey. Genetic counselors are our skilled guides in this maze. With advanced training in medical genetics and counseling, they are here to support you in understanding how inherited diseases might affect you or your family. Genetic counselors collect information about family and medical histories, explain the risks, benefits, and limitations of genetic testing. They break down complex test results into easy-to-understand insights, offering support every step of the way. They can connect you with the appropriate support and resources, and their role extends beyond individual counseling. They may also contribute to public health, policy, research, and industry initiatives. Here's a description from the National Society of Genetic Counselors, which is an organization that plays a crucial role in setting professional standards and advancing the field of genetic counseling. They made a statement that reads as follows: genetic counselors have advanced training in medical genetics and counseling to guide and support patients seeking more information about how inherited diseases and conditions might affect them or their families, and to interpret genetic test results based on your personal and family history. In today's world, knowing your genetic makeup is more than just science. It's about taking charge of your health and your life. That's where genetic counseling truly shines. Other providers and practitioners can also assist in this journey. So with the help of genetic counselors and other healthcare providers, you can navigate the maze of information, uncover the mysteries of your genetic health, and empower yourself and your family. If you wish to speak to a genetic counselor, you can head over to the National Society of Genetic Counselors website to find a genetic counselor. As we reach the end of our journey today, remember that genetic testing is a powerful tool. Understanding genetic information and test results can be incredibly complex, as it involves intricate scientific concepts, personal family history, and the interpretation of sometimes uncertain data. This complexity is why seeking guidance from trained professionals like genetic counselors is so important to help navigate this challenging landscape. As we navigate this genetic maze, there are many topics we couldn't cover in full detail. To help answer any additional questions you may have, we've created more videos that dive deeper into these subjects. Here are a few examples of what you'll find in our videos. In our mutations video, we'll discuss the different types of mutations and genetic variation. In our inheritance video, you'll cover the various inheritance patterns and how genetic traits are passed down. And in our genetic testing videos, we'll discuss the different genetic testing methods and what they can detect, as well as the types of results, such as secondary and incidental findings. Thank you so much for joining us. We hope this information helps you make informed decisions on your path forward.